What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We got every single side Easter egg or secret that is in Black Ops 2 Zombies. Now, of course, I may have missed one here or there, so if you see one I missed, let me know. Maybe I'll cover it, but let's just get started. Starting with a couple of the perma perks. So there is a quick revive perma perk you can have. All you have to do is revive your teammates 17 times in one game, and it will allow you to revive quicker. Even if you're in Who's Who, you can revive yourself quicker. Another one is you can get a free 1,000 points back for every perk you buy. All you have to do is buy 50 perks in general from the start of your account, and then buy 15 more after 50 and go prone on all 15. And after the 15th, you'll get the perma perk, and every perk you buy will give you 1,000 points back. And I believe the way to lose this is if you don't go prone after every perk you buy. The third is perma jug. So if you go down before round 3 games in a row, you will get perma jug, which instead of 2 hits, you'll go down in 4, and it can stack on top of the regular jug perk. The next perma perk is the carpenter perma perk. So when you get the carpenter, if you then kill a zombie behind a barrier, from then on, every carpenter you get, it will rebuild barriers with the metal barriers. I believe the only way to lose this is if with every carpenter you get, you don't kill a zombie behind the wall. The next perma perk is the half off perma perk. So when you get a double points, to get this one, all you have to do is get 2,500 points with that double points. And then the next double points you get, everything will be half off. I didn't even know some of these till I was making this video. Now, jumping over to transit, some of you may have forgot, but there are 3 different buildables for the bus, but one of the buildables you can actually place somewhere else on the map, so that is the hatch. Instead of building it on the top of the bus, you can place it at the diner and get the Galvanuckles and get on top of the restaurant. The second thing is when you knife and shoot Ted, you will get different funny quotes, or he could kick you off the bus. He could skip different locations, or he could trap you on the bus and skip a location. There's plenty of things that Ted can say or do. The next thing is at the cornfields. If you take a certain route, and it's not too hard to find, but if you run to the back of the map, you can find Nocturne Totem, and it's got Easter egg parts in there. It's got a jet gun part in there. So you need to go there if you're wanting to build the wonder weapon or do the Easter egg. But the fact Noct is in transit, hidden in a corn maze, some of you may have forgotten that, and I think it's kind of a cool feature there. The next thing is when you get the jet gun, the worst wonder weapon on the planet, you don't know when it's gonna break. But if you have it out and you create a teleporter under a light with the Denizen and jump in it holding the jet gun, a percentage bar will appear in the bottom right, and you can see when it's going to break. And then when it breaks, you have to pick up all 5 pieces and go rebuild the piece of junk. I would recommend just don't ever get the jet gun. It is a piece. The next thing is there is a ladder for the bus. So you could place that just on the back of the bus here, and you can climb on top of the bus. The next thing, and I had totally forgotten this, but there is a lawnmower turret with an RPD on top you can build at farm. I mean, I knew about this before, but I just completely forgot about it. So I decided to throw it in here just for some nostalgia maybe. I've never used it because it sucks, but it's still in there. Oh, and then also you can get a front bumper for the bus that'll kill zombies so they can't get on the front windshield there. And that is the third and final part of the bus. The next thing is if you are at farm and you're running to diner, if you hug the right side of the wall through the fog, you will find a secret path that'll lead you to town. It's one of the best shortcuts possible, because there's so many times I need to get to town and I'm at diner or the farm, and you can just take that secret route. The next thing is if you buy the Bowie knife and then get the ballistic knife, those 2 weapons will combine into one weapon, and it does great damage, and it just looks sweet. A lot of you probably didn't know, those 2 can combine together. The next thing on transit is when you melee normally, it has its normal speed, but if you pull out a turbine or the turret, whatever you pull out, if you then knife, your speed will be over doubled. So this is great for running through the fog if you have to knife the denizens. The next thing is when the Avogadro comes in, you might know you have to melee with the Galvanuckles, and he's just super annoying. But if you have the EMPs, all you have to do is hit him with one of them, and he'll just take off and leave. The next thing, back to the perma perks, just one of them. If you rebuild, I believe it's like 75 barriers for points. So on the bottom right, you have to be gaining points. On round 10 or above, after 75, you'll get a green burst, and the boards will turn into metal boards, and it'll take the zombies a lot longer to get through. Honestly, it's really kind of useless, especially on round 10 or above. Nobody's building barriers, but it's still a thing there. And that is that for transit. Now, let's jump over to Mob of the Dead. Let me know of the ones I missed. But starting off on Mob, if you spawn in and you do not move and you die in the afterlife, you will get an alternate ending to the end of the game, and it'll start playing, like, I believe it's called Samantha's Lullaby song, and it'll start panning up towards the moon. And that's the only way to get that, is by not moving. The second thing is there are actually 2 Easter egg songs on this map. So there's the one everybody knows, like where are we going, and you have to type that code into the code thing. The other, there are 3 bottles around the map. If you get all 3 of those, a Johnny Cash, I believe, a song, it's called Rusty Cage. It's actually a banger, dude, so I'd recommend turning that on. The next thing is the fire pit under the first dog head. If you throw your grenades into it, you'll get 20 points. Why this is a thing? Not a single clue. Will 20 points help you? No, but maybe on the low rounds, maybe you need 20 more points for a box hit. I don't know. The next thing is there is one spot other than an afterlife around the map you can mantle, and it's right here on this boardwalk. I don't know why this spot. And if you do it too far to the left, you'll hit a death barrier, but that's the only spot you can mantle on the map. I don't know why that is there. Next thing is you can see Mule Kick, which is not on this map, and PhD Flopper, which is not in Black Ops 2, sitting down on the boardwalk, just spitting in our face. Everybody was so mad PhD Flopper wasn't in it. And so just to make it worse, here are the 2 perk machines on the edge, just hitting loogies in our face. The next thing is the sniper trap you can turn on right next to the perks. If you activate it, go into Afterlife and shock this box that appears after you turn it on. You can turn it into an RPG trap, which will do a little more damage. It's nothing crazy, but the fact you can do it is there. The next thing, and this one I haven't seen a lot of people talk about. It doesn't really matter, but it's just a cool little feature they've got. If you buy your perks, so as you see, I've got Jug and Double Tap. If you go into the Afterlife and then revive yourself, it will switch your perk order. And it only does this on the first time you use the Afterlife, unless you buy a new perk. So as you see in the second one, I get Electric Cherry, and then it switches it again. But after I get Speed Cola, it doesn't switch it anymore. So it's only the first time unless you buy new perks. Why? I don't know. Does it affect anything? No. But the fact it happens, I mean, that had to be intentional, right? If not, I mean, it's just a little cool feature they've got. The next thing is when you're getting the skulls for the free Blundergat, there are 2 shortcuts you can take. If you throw your Hell's Retriever where you first grab it, it'll actually get the one by spawn on the toilet through the ceiling. And then the next one is if you go to this ceiling and jump and throw it, you'll get the one on the roof through that ceiling. So it's like 2 little shortcuts there. But that is it for Mob of the Dead. A special secret Easter egg, another promo perk, is if you have your symbol, you know how there's like shotguns, the knife, the skull. If you have 2 bones or lower, if you sit and buy the Olympia, I believe it's like before round 5 or something, and just keep buying it over and over and over, you will get the Ray Gun perma perk. And I believe the only way to lose this is to get above round 10. I could be wrong, but basically what this does is when you go to buy the Olympia, you'll just get a ray gun for it, which is pretty wild. But you have to have the 2 bones or lower. So you have to be complete cheeks if you want this perma perk. Let's jump over to Die Rise, one of the most beloved maps of all time. Not really, everyone hated this crap, but I mean, I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's good, but I don't think it's terrible. But anyways, the first one is just like when they hit us with the loogie on Mob of the Dead. If you take the elevator down from spawn, it goes really fast, so you'd have to slow it down. But in one of the hallways you pass, PhD Flopper, the perk machine, is at the end of it. You can't get to it, you can't buy it, it's just another big spit in the face. The second thing, also, when you go down the elevator, you might think you can only go down, it won't go up. But there is a key hidden in the hallway somewhere that you can pick up and put into the machine at the end of the hall. and it will allow you to go back up the elevator. Now, if you go back down, you have to do the whole thing again. So find the key, put it in the wall, and then you can go back up again. But you can keep going back up and down. You're not just stuck once. The next thing is, really, if you pull 2 or 3K out of the bank, you can get this liquefier on round 1. All the parts are in the same area. Just grab all the parts. You'll have the wonder weapon for the map on round 1, only utilizing like 2 or 3,000 from the bank. I think they should have spread the parts around the map to make it harder, but I mean, whatever. The next thing is, you may know all the perks will go to random elevators each game, so you have to go find them, but Quick Revive always stays the same, at least in solo. It'll always be in the one right here by the crafting table. The Pack-a-Punch, Speed, the rest of them can change to any elevator on the map. The next thing is, by jumping up and down on the elevators, it'll actually make it go up or down faster. So that's just a small trick, because I hate having to stand and wait for them for half the freaking game. So if you jump around on them, it'll make it go quicker. And the next thing is, building the trample steam might be super annoying because you have to carry 4 parts up and down the freaking stairs waiting for the elevators. But you can actually drag by switching parts all the way to the ledge, and you can drop all 4 down so you don't have to keep making trips up and down. Just drag all of them over and over and over to the edge until they all drop off the side. But make sure you don't fall off the side and die. The next thing is, you can strafe jump. Okay, we all know this part of the map where you have to go down the ramp and then the box is upside down and it like takes super long to get to. Like from this point, you have to go around the entire freaking map to get there. But you can actually strafe jump from this couch onto the ledge. So it's like a huge shortcut. Another random Easter egg here. Let's jump back. This is the super Easter egg. So if you beat every single Easter egg, either on Maxis' side or Richtofen's, on Barret you can press in a button and it'll give you special perks for each Easter egg you did. So if you did Richtofen, I believe you get a meal kick that gives you 4 gun slots you can use, as well as a permanent fire sale. And I believe when you do Maxis' side, you get, I want to say you get all the perks, but the map kind of turns orange. The zombies' eyes turn orange, except for a few have blue eyes. Apparently that's supposed to be like Richtofen's soul and a zombie, and when you kill them, they will guarantee you a drop. But that is the super Easter egg for you, but you have to complete all of them, and it takes 4 players, and Black Ops 2 is like not played by millions of people, so it might be hard, but that's that. Back over to Die Rise. I believe Die Rise is the only map in COD Zombies history that has a box location upside down. It also has a gun location right next to it upside down, but I can't think of a single other map where the box is upside down. It's just a weird little fact. I don't know why they got it upside down. The whole map's upside down. The next thing is, for some reason at this certain window, if there are barriers and you melee at the zombies, it will launch you into the sky. I don't know why. I mean, it's just obviously a little glitch. It's not supposed to be like that, but yeah, if you knife, you'll just go flying into the air. The next thing is, if you have the Sliquifier, come over kind of by the ramp down to where the box is. If you shoot this sign with all 10 of your Sliquifier shots, it will, what people say, unpatch the Sliquifier to its original variant before it was patched by Treyarch, making it way better. It's actually not the case. I believe what it unpatches is like one of the sliding feature of the zombies and like how much it transfers from one zombie to the next. I'm not too sure, but the fact is, when you shoot this sign, it unpatches part of the gun. The next thing is, if you throw a monkey bomb from this building over to this other building, the zombies will just stop and stand there. Even when the monkey bomb blows up and is gone, if you're not near the zombies, they'll just stay sitting there, wiggling their heads. But then when you get close, they'll stop wiggling and they'll come at you. The next is on the special rounds with the jumpy monkey things. If you only melee, don't shoot a single bullet the whole round, only melee, you'll get a free perk after. But here's the problem. It's nice to get all the perks, but you never want to get Who's Who, because then you'll just be dead, so it won't matter. So that's up to you if you want to get them all, or maybe try to get the other perks and hopefully not get Who's Who, but that is completely up to you. And the last thing is, when the game ends, if you sit and listen at the loading screen where it shows your stats, you can hear Brutus or the warden walking up to a jail cell and closing it. just kind of as a little Easter egg to what was to come, because Dire Ice came out before Mob of the Dead, so it was kind of a little Easter egg to what the next map was gonna be. Okay, let's jump over to Origins. So starting off with Origins, this is the only map in Black Ops 2, it might be the only map in Call of Duty Zombies history, where instead of the M14 and the Olympia, it's got the M14 and the Ballista. Like, what the fetch is that? Who wants the Ballista, number one? Number two, what a weird random gun to have instead of the classic Olympia, you know? I know a lot of maps don't have guns at all, or they might have some random gun, but to have the M14 and the Ballista is just a little weird. The next thing is Origins was actually the first map to where you can go prone at a perk machine and get points back. I mean, that's gone on to every Zombies we have now, but it started on Origins. And also, the weird thing is you can go prone at the Pack-a-Punch machine and get points, and this is the only map you can do that on. The next thing is you can get a free Pack-a-Punched LMG, the Magna Collider, I believe it's called. You have to get the Maxis drone, and there's 4 yellow discs around the map. You need to just lead the drone too. So the first is by spawn there, the second's by stamina, the third's by the church, and the fourth is by the Pack-a-Punch. But once you get all of them with the Maxis drone, and you might have to go and grab another Maxis drone, but once you get all of those, it's going to spawn right in front of the Pack-a-Punch machine, and you'll have the free Pack-a-Punch LMG. The next thing is when you get the gold shovel, which first of all, after like 30 digs, you get a gold shovel, which will give you better loot, and it'll also spawn the orange dig site where you can get a free perk bottle. And then I believe after 50 digs, you get the golden helmet where you can be stepped on by zombies. So that's number one. Number two is once you get the gold shovel, the orange dig sites will spawn, which allow you to get a free perk bottle where you can buy a free perk. Not get a free perk, but you can buy an extra 5th perk. And you can do that until you have every single perk. But if you know the locations on the map and you throw a Semtex or a trip mine or whatever you've got, it'll actually unveil the orange dig site when you're not in zombie blood. So usually you need zombie blood to see these, but if you know the locations and hit it with a Semtex, it'll just sit there. And so you're like, okay, there it is. Now you get a zombie blood and you already know where it's at. The next one, and this one's crazy, is if you build and upgrade 3 of the staffs to where they're sitting in the crazy place on their pedestals, and you shove all of your guns in the Pack-a-Punch machine with meal kit, so you have no guns, and then you go to the crazy place, pick up a staff, pull out its second variant, the one that can revive people. You can pick up 2 other staffs so that you have a total of 3 staffs. I did not know this until I was making this. That is crazy. That's like a game changer. There's also a way to get a free zombie blood. So there's 3 wagons on fire around the Pack-a-Punch machine. If you shoot all 3 with the ice staff and extinguish the flame, a zombie blood's going to spawn next to the Pack-a-Punch. And this is great for finding the orange dig sites. Also, if you hit an orange dig site with a Semtex, you can't dig it up unless you have zombie blood. So this is great to have. So if you know where it is, you can just get it. And I believe you can do this once per round. So along with that, you can get up to, I believe it's 8 perks from the orange dig sites. You can only get 4 orange dig sites, but the way to get the 9th perk is by the free double tap in the chest. I believe it's just spend 30,000 points and you'll get the free double tap. But don't pick it up until you have the other 8. But then when you do that, you'll have every single perk on the map. And last but not least, let's jump over to Buried. There's a lot here for Buried, so let's just get into it. Starting off, if you give Leroy candy next to the box, he will punch it in place and it will never leave that spot for the duration of the game. The second thing is if you give candy to Leroy in front of the chalks, it doesn't have to be one, it could be all of them. He will pick up as many as he can and he will go draw them on the wall for you. Now the only problem is you don't know what he's going to put where, but I mean it totally doesn't matter, but he'll just go build them all for you. The next perma perk is the Sniper Extra Point perma perk. If you get 5 headshots that are long shots, every kill you get with the sniper will give you a bunch of extra points. As you see here, it just like this is huge for low rounds and getting a ton of points, especially if you want to like fill up the bank or whatever you're looking to do. The next perma perk is only on Buried. This is the perma PhD flopper. All you have to do is like jump and take damage 5 times or fall off ledges. but you'll get the green burst, and you have holy smokes, I can't talk. You have the Perma Perk PhD Flopper, and the only way to lose this is by taking fall damage. It's only on Buried, unfortunately. The next thing is you can find a secret teleporter and go back to the main spawn room. So you have to have Leroy break this fountain in the front of the witch's house, go through the witch's house, and in the corn maze thing, or just the maze, you have to throw 4 grenades into the fountain, and it'll blow it up, and there will be a secret teleporter you can go through, and it'll put you back to spawn. And if you have the paralyzer, you can get back up on the rails and then get the LSAT if you want. The next thing is the secret free perk Easter egg. So you have to get the ballistic knife, go into the saloon, and stand behind this white line and hit a bullseye, and the piano behind you will start playing. And if you go through the witch's house and then go back through it to go back to the main map, you can tip the witch playing the piano here and get a free perk. Now, if you have the time bomb, you may know when you go through the witch's house, if you don't get hit and you kill the last witch, you'll get another free perk. If you have the time bomb, throw it down before you kill the last witch. Kill the last witch, but don't pick up the free perk yet, and then pop the time bomb. The free perk will still be there so you can grab it. The last witch will still be there so you can kill it and get another free perk. And then you can do this Easter egg to get the 7th free perk. So you can have all the perks by round 1. The next thing is if you have a semi-automatic gun, if you shoot Leroy with 1 shot, he won't go running to his cage. You have to, if you have a fully auto, then he will run back. But you have to shoot him multiple times with the semi to make him run back. The next thing is if you get a box gun you don't like, give Leroy candy and he will respin the box for you for free. The next is if you give Leroy candy in front of a crafting bench, he will go and craft whatever you want. You can't choose what he crafts, but he will go get all the pieces and craft it so you don't have to keep running back and forth. And once you do that, if you pick up the subwoofer, place it on the ground, and give Leroy candy next to the subwoofer, he will go grab a turbine for you and come and place it down, so you don't have to do that either. We all know you want to save a zombie and get things done. This is how it's always been on any zombies map. So with this one, if you turn the zombie into a crawler and give Leroy candy, he'll pick up the crawler so you can go get done whatever you want to do. And once you shoot him, he'll throw the zombie on the ground, or it'll glitch above his head and he'll stomp its head in. The next thing is if you give Leroy candy next to a power-up, he will change the power-up, but if you shoot him in the middle of his animation, he'll run off to his cage, and that power-up will stay there forever. It will not move, it will not change, it won't disappear. So if you have a max ammo on round 4 like you do for me, and you do this, if you come back on round 1000, that max ammo will still be sitting there. The next thing is, again, back to the witches. If they hit you or you kill them, your grenades will refill. And if you have claymores, it'll also refill the claymores. Why this is a thing, I really don't know. It's not like helpful or anything, but it's just weird that if they hit you or you kill them, you start regaining grenades. The next thing is if Leroy walks through a power-up, he won't pick it up no matter how many times you walk him through it, but if you give him booze and have him run through it, it will get picked up by him. The next perma perk is the extra damage perma perk, or extra headshot damage. If you get 5 collateral headshot kills, you'll get a green burst, and then it's like a 1-shot headshot. It's super helpful on the higher rounds, but it's not like anything crazy. The next perma perk is the invincibility perma perk, or I just made that up, but if you get 2 insta kills and you don't kill a zombie, just get it, run around until it runs out. On the 3rd one you pick up, you're gonna see a red insta-kill symbol. All you have to do is run into the zombies or touch them and it'll kill them. You don't even need to shoot your gun, just run into them. The next thing is if you have a train of witches and you go through the teleporter back to spawn, they will all spawn up in the spawn area with you. And if you go down the tunnel without killing any of them, they will just all be sitting down there waiting to just steal all your points or kill you. So watch out for that if you ever do that. The next thing, if for some, I don't know why this happens. I think maybe it has to do with Vulture Raid and the green smoke, but some drops won't have the green glow around it. It'll just be the gold drop and it looks super weird. The next thing is Buried is one of the only maps you can throw down a time bomb on round 1, get to round 900 and pop it and go back to round 1. So you could technically have 50,000 kills and be on round 1. This was the most diabolical thing you could do to your teammates of all time. Oh, you got a Mark II, a Paralyzer, Monkey Bombs. You pop that thing, they don't got none of that. The next thing is if you have Galvaknuckles and you melee these keys in the bank, you can deposit your own points into a drop for your teammates. And secondly, if you place a time bomb, then melee and put your points in, and then pop the time bomb, that drop will still be there, so you can double your points instantly, allowing you to fill up the bank super quick. And the last perma perk is the perma tombstone perk. I believe you have to buy 4 perks like before round 6 or something like that. But once you do that, when you go down, you'll come back up and have all your perks except Quick Revive. So if you buy Quick Revive again, you'll still come back up with all your perks. It's super helpful if you can get those perks like before round 6. And ladies and gents, that is it. If I missed anything, let me know. I'm sure I did, but let me know of any other cool secret Easter eggs or how you felt about this game, and I will catch you guys later.